PharmaPhobic is powered by Achieve the Lifestyle, a company dedicated to helping you empower your health, redefine your lifestyle, and all for the health of it. You're listening to PharmaPhobic, where we challenge the state of health in America. I'm Janie, a physician assistant, and I've seen how healthcare keeps people dependent instead of truly healthy.
And I'm Dan, a veteran turned fitness pro here to uncover the truth and explore simple and sustainable health solutions. From big pharma to big food, we're exposing the conflicts of interest keeping us sick and finding better ways to take back our health.
No fluff, no gimmicks, just real talk, real solutions, and a little bit of fun along the way.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of the PharmaPhobic podcast, brought to you by Achieve the Lifestyle, where we help you become the strongest, healthiest, and most capable version of yourself. As always, I'm here in great company. Guys, awesome company. Okay. My road dog, my battle buddy for life. Okay. The woman that God sent me after I prayed for a beautiful companion. Miss Janie Brown, how are you doing?
Good morning. I don't even think your wedding vows were that.
Oh my God. Shot fired. You see how I get
I'm
repaid?
just kidding.
Shot fired across
kidding.
the bow. I'm just going to work on making it by episode 500. I'll have something like crazy awkward and crazy.
Is this because Valentine's Day is approaching?
I didn't even know
You didn't even
Valentine's Day was approaching. I wasn't even tracking Valentine's Day. This happens every year, guys. So Janie's birthday's in January.
Mm-hmm.
And I go into gift season, right? So you got Christmas. Then a week later, Janie's birthday. And then a month later, we got Valentine's Day. So 3 months in a row, your boy, who doesn't do gifts, I'm not good at it at all, has to deal with gifts. So
He's like, has to deal with gifts.
that's the way I feel.
It's fine. This is what he does. He's like, here's my card. Get yourself something on the internet. And I'm like, okay, that's very nice of you, but that kind of defeats the purpose. But the other thing, what else do you do? You'll get something in the mail and it'll still be like in the brown box. And he's just like, here. And I'm like, you're not going to unwrap it? You already have to unwrap it. Like
Facts. If you have to open the box.
I'm like, you can't even like the bow, you pull the sticker off and just slap it on there.
Here's the thing about that. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But listen, it's a win-win. You get really, a gift, you get what you want, and I get peace of mind.
Yes, it's fine. I do just like to give you grief about it. But I also love how it's a one area of your life that you choose not to improve upon. Like within work, with fitness, with everything else, you're like, okay, I'm deficient in this area. I'm going to improve upon it. You know you're not great at giving gifts. And I'm not saying that. You self-proclaim that. Yet you choose not to do anything about it.
I mean, the fruit of the tree is there. I am not good at this. So the thing is, it just makes me feel like all awkward and all this sort of pressure. And then not only that, I've been compiling a list, guys, for years of stuff that Janie likes and Janie wants.
Yeah, because I've learned to be obvious about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this coffee cup's amazing. I would really like this.
Yeah. And so I go and make a little note in my phone. Guess what's the last thing I remember that I have when gift season comes around? The list. I'll look at it in like June or something and then be like, oh, she wanted this thing. Yeah, I'll remember that for next year. Nope.
No, it's fine. I'm not hurting for anything. It's good. It's good.
I'll try better. By like year 20, I might have something. Be like, here you go, gift. Boom, out of the blue. What? Wrapped in everything.
Anyway.
Okay. Getting into the nitty gritty. The business. What we are all here for.
So we gave 2 presentations on this past Wednesday, which was fun, which was great.
Mm-hmm. Same. It was crazy. It was kind of, my day was crazy.
It was crazy. There was a little bit of miscommunication on time because we had to reschedule a few times and then the time got changed, but we forgot that the date was changed and the time. But we made it work and it was great. People were very receptive. We went to like an admin section of a college, certain department, and we spoke to them just about general lifestyle improvements, which is awesome. And sometimes I forget because we talk about it so much, and then the people we surround ourselves with are also pretty health conscious, that a lot of people don't know some very basic things that what we think are basic, right? And so I just feel very reassured that what we're doing is good, because sometimes I feel a little, how do I say this? Like people don't need, or we know people need what we have to offer, but it's not like flashy, shiny, like a peptide or like this extensive program that we're going to charge you out the butt for. But really it's all these bells and whistles. But what we try to work on are the very basic foundations that everybody needs. And it gets a little discouraging sometimes because people are like, I can do that. I don't need that. Right. But then when we go to give presentations like this, it's like, no, people really do need this.
So pursuing health is an uphill battle. Getting other people to pursue health, right? Encouraging them to take their health seriously is a very steep climb. So you can kind of get discouraged in the process a little bit. Like you can be like, man, nobody wants to do this. These basics that I'm out here talking about, nobody wants to hear about it. But then we go and talk to people in person and then it's like, oh no, this is necessary. But not only that, I think something has shifted in the matrix. Something has shifted that people are very curious and very hungry for health in general.
Yeah.
You know, so people that for years have not even thought about their health, I think they're starting to feel like, nah, maybe I should be paying attention to this.
Yeah. And the majority of people, they're getting things like cold plunge, red light, vibration plates, these injections, all things shoved in their face. And they're like, I don't have the time, the capacity, the means to do this stuff, but what can I do within my busy schedule? I have a 9 to 5, I have kids, I have, aging parents, other obligations. What can I do to still maintain health at where I'm at? And I think that's where we come in, especially in a workplace environment, which is what I did angle this talk to these people because they're stuck in an office the majority of the day. So how do you make that more conducive for health? How do you make that more not so sedentary, not so bleak, not so mind numbing? Because I know that feeling of you're in an office all day and you're doing quote unquote nothing, like no physical exertion, but yet you feel exhausted when you get home, just depleted. But on the days when the office that I'm in is a little bit busier, I'm up moving around, I actually do more and I feel more invigorated. I don't know if other people appreciate that, but how do we make that more common so that you can go home and still have energy to participate in your family life or go to the gym and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most people, that's how they work, right? Most people work desk bound in an office. I'd say that's probably 80%, maybe more of the workforce is like that.
I saw something and was like, we made a diagnosis for attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, but nobody bats an eye of sitting in a chair for 7 hours a day at a desk.
Yeah.
Because what are our bodies made to do? Sit all day or get up and move around and do things?
Well, and then you start adding the statistics of like sitting is it's the new form of cancer. Like your cancer risk gets elevated and all this other stuff. It's wild. Like sedentarism is not good. And then even really active people that would leave that office space and go play rec league sport, go to the gym, go participate in martial arts or whatever. But even them, you're almost smearing mud at that point if you spend 8 hours stuck on a chair, right?
Right.
It's that detrimental to the system.
And it's hard when you're sitting for so long because you can hear the stats of doing 10 squats every 45 minutes, walking 10 minutes to 15 minutes after meals, all these things. You can hear these things. But when you're in the office and you're sitting and you're getting hit with emails and doing work, sometimes it's hard to peel yourself out of that to then do these things. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be hugely beneficial for employees if the powers that be within their office make it more common or encourage it or inject it into their days for them and make it more easily accessible. Like, hey, we're doing this. So I'm going to start playing around with making some flyers or infographics for corporate wellness type stuff.
Because, you know what I'm like, I think the Japanese do this really well. And I'm reminded of this old movie with Michael Keaton, where they're like American car factory workers, and then it gets bought up by a Japanese company. So the Japanese come in and turn the thing into like a Japanese style car production. And they start every morning with a workout.
Yeah.
They make the whole factory workout. And, you know, this is the 80s movie and the Americans hate it. Like, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. But they're like, oh, it makes you more productive and all this stuff. So, but it's true. That's very true. So it would be cool if like employers recognize that some form of physical activity injected into the day actually makes their employees more productive, because that, you know, as Americans, we're worried about productivity. Now, my experience in corporate America is very limited, but I didn't feel too productive when I was like glued to the computer like that. I'm just like, I almost feel, you know, I have a very unique experience because I spent so long in the military and so little in a regular job that it's like, I don't know, you just structure your day differently in the military, and you have so much coming at you that you have to be very, boom, I got to do this for 45 minutes and then I'm off to this other thing, you know? So crossing over, I was like, I just don't know how people do it for that long period of time to sit there and do the one thing. But just knowing that, hey, movement's better for you. If you eat better food, you can actually be more productive as well. Like, all these things matter into how you perform in your job and how you perform in your day-to-day, every day.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, it's takeaway here from those presentations. I'm like, the people are curious. There's like something happened that people are more curious. They seem to be more interested in actually applying these things, and they're putting more effort into making health a priority, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, you know, all the health influencers on social media that have garnered really big followings, so people see the content about health more and it's in there. I couldn't tell you what is moving the dial, but people are thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's a good start.
Yeah.
It's a good start to fixing this, what's the word I'm looking for here? This dookie show. That we're in, okay? Because it's crazy out there, guys. It's crazy. Okay. Let me put my old man filters on. Long intro to the show. And let's get into this health variety show. Okay. First thing I wanted to talk about was the top 10 most nutrient-dense foods. And they are not what most people would think about. And some of these foods might make people go like, ew. I get it. They're not exactly attractive things that you might be like, ooh, I'm gonna saute that and just put it all in my mouth. Might not make you want to go like that, but doesn't change that it's loaded with nutrients. Okay. And then we're gonna talk, have we tried it? How did we eat it? You know.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the first one. This one's tough. Kidney. Kidney is one of the most nutrient-dense foods. What does it have in it? It's got B12, riboflavin, selenium, zinc, and CoQ10. It's got iron too. Do we need all that to thrive and survive?
Yes.
Absolutely. Essential nutrients right there. Selenium and zinc come to mind for me as a man.
They're good for testosterone. They're also really good for thyroid health.
There you go. So ladies, what up with it? Iron. We know ladies need that. women need more iron than men. Why would that be, Janie?
Because of menses.
There you go. It's actually 3 times higher than men. So whenever I think of ladies that say they don't eat red meat or something like that, I'm like, ooh, that's tough. That's tough, especially if you're still of menstruating age. That is, whew, you need that iron, girl. Yep. They say it's, 6 grams for men, 18 for women? That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a huge difference in the need. So if somebody should be eating juicy steaks, it's the ladies. Second one here, bone marrow.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah, delicious. Glycine, collagen, and then it's strong immune support.
Yep.
Man, if you've never had bone marrow, like at a steakhouse where they bring in the bone and then you scrape it off the little bone like that, and it's like this little buttery gelatin substance.
You
and
put
then
it on some toasty bread.
And then you put it on toasty bread. Ooh, child. Oh my God, that's so good. I'm reminded of that restaurant in Phoenix that we went to. We had some bone marrow there.
Also, that restaurant in Dubai where I saw it on the menu and I was like, ooh, we should order that. And we didn't. And then the table next to us got it. And I had regrets.
You had regrets?
Yeah, I had regrets.
Yeah, that is bone marrow on toasty bread is definitely delicious.
Yep.
And it's good for you. Look at that. Next one up, heart.
Yep.
Heart has CoQ10, B vitamins, iron, taurine, and that selenium. Pay attention, gentlemen. That selenium. That help you with your testosterone, guys. Help you feel real manly. Get a nice dose of selenium and you could watch the hair on your chest grow. That's so I've heard. Might be scientific.
Okay.
Anyway, heart is really, we've had it. Heart is very interesting because it actually doesn't taste as crazy as most people would think it would.
Yeah, we were just at a Brazilian steakhouse last weekend and they had it as one of the options, little chicken hearts.
They had chicken hearts, but beef heart, it's almost like it's a buttery when you cook it. It's like a little buttery, very soft cut of meat. And it actually tastes really good. It's like a nice, very nice piece of filet almost. Like it's really, really good. And it, like I said, it doesn't, people think of liver when you start dropping organ meats, and kidney is a tough one because kidney, you have to brine it.
Yeah, and because kidney's a little bit like thicker, more, I want to say fibrous, but it's not technically fibrous, but it's kind of like almost like spongy, thicker, like spongy.
Yeah, so it has to get brined and then you can cut it up and cook it, which by the way, when we were in Portugal, that barbecue that I had.
Yeah, you accidentally ordered the mixed grill, which was meat, but also organ meat.
It had meat and then it had kidney, it had liver. So it was just a mix of grilled, open flame grilled meats.
We'd never had organ meat grilled before.
Yeah, never had organ meat grilled.
It was pretty good.
No, it was.
You could taste a difference, but it was good.
It took me, I was halfway through the plate when I realized that I was like, hey, I had to ask the waiter, what's this one? I mean, I know that one's liver because liver, even though it was cooked awesomely, but liver has like a little at the end that you're like, yep, that's liver. But I'm like, what's this one? And he's like,
I was like, it's kidney. And he's like, oh no. And I'm like, I have dissected cadavers. That is a kidney.
So, and then he came and said, yeah, that one's kidney. This one's, regular meat, blah, blah. But it was delicious. I mean, the whole thing, just open flame grilled meats. And it happened to have liver. It had kidney. It probably had a little heart in there and then a bunch of regular meat. And it was really good.
Yeah.
But anyway, heart is really, really easy to eat. Like, I think the Mexicans do like heart taco.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You could put anything in a tortilla with some cheese and it's good.
That's the facts. They do tongue tacos as well. That's pretty good too. So yeah, heart, definitely one worth trying. I'd say if once you get over, it's a heart, it's when you cook that and it's loaded with nutrients.
So you want to talk about how we do them or at the end?
We can talk about heart.
Yeah, with the organ meats, we tend to buy them at Wild Fork, which Wild Fork is all frozen stuff, and we keep them frozen. I'll thaw them out a little bit so then I can pull them out and then I can chop them up. And then I put them back in the freezer, and then we take out like a little bit, like I'll measure out like an ounce, or it depends on how frequently we do it because I think you want to do 3 ounces a week of liver specifically. And so I'll measure it out and then we'll just like pop it and swallow it because it's frozen, so it goes down like a pill. And you don't have to chew it. Do you taste it? A little bit, right? Depending on how thought out it is. And then
Yeah.
It's an easy way to do it.
Something about organ meats that noted that they were the multivitamin of old.
Yes.
100 years ago, pregnant women would go on a higher dose of organ meats, that sort of thing. They're the multivitamin of old. Why? I'm just explaining to you how loaded with nutrients these things are.
Especially with the iron content in organ meats, you're not going to get the constipation as much as with taking an iron supplement. So for my women specifically out there who need to take iron supplements because maybe you have heavy periods or frequent periods, so you're low iron. But if you take a supplement, it hurts your stomach, you can't poop. Looking at organs, or even some companies like Heart and Soil will do desiccated organs that are dried and put in a capsule. So then you can just take them like that.
Yeah. The organ meat hype is real.
Yeah.
There's at some point it's going to get perverted. I would still read the labels to make sure that it's just that you're getting if you're buying the supplements or whatever. And like Heart and Soil is a pretty good brand for that. But the hype around organ meats is real. It's worth it. It's justified. This stuff is loaded with freaking nutrients that your body needs, and it does the body good.
Yeah, and if you're like organ meats, well, if you think about it, and we're killing animals to get meat like cows, because fact, that's what we do, right? Why not utilize everything that it's going to yield to us, its organs and everything? Why waste a ounce of it? That, obviously things that we can. So the bone marrow, all that. Why not? And to me, it makes sense that organs and bone marrow are beneficial because they were meant for us to consume. They were meant to provide nutrients for us because they can pull nutrients from the earth. So
yeah, so if you think about it, the whole nose to tail thing that is in vogue now, restaurants that do nose to tail stuff and all these people talking about eating nose to tail. Rewind back 100 years ago, how people would, or maybe more than that, how you take a cow, you're not just going to take filet mignon and ribeyes out of it and then drop the rest off and leave it out as trash, right? You got leather for goods that's going to come out of that cow. You got stuff you could do with the bones. In other cultures, they made weapons, whatever, but you can cook the bones down into broth, right?
Yep.
You got the marrow coming out of the bones, which is delicious, buttery goodness. You got all the meat, and then you got the organs that you can ground up and make other stuff with. So you really...
And some cultures even eat tripe?
Yeah.
The intestines?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But you have to, if you're going to have tripe, you want to make sure that they know what they're doing, because inside the intestines is waste, right? So you want to make sure it's very clean.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But I mean, you take a cow and you eat the whole thing and be like, I'm going to make some cool leather shoes with this. I'm going to make some cool leather coats with that. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to turn this into broth. I'm going to preserve this. I'm going to make a weapon out of that. And then boom, you use the whole animal. And that, my friends, is how you truly do it, how we should all be doing it.
Yeah.
Not just taking some ribeyes and some friggin' filet mignons and then dumping the rest,
it's like
right?
the original reduce, reuse, recycle.
Exactly. After heart, we got
my favorite,
the incredible edible
eggs.
We talked about eggs here. We've talked about eggs multiple times, but eggs, just as a review, if you haven't been with us that long listening to this podcast, choline, vitamin A, vitamin D, B12, that is the wave tops of it, because you broke that down. There's lutein, there's beta carotene in there, there's selenium. And
with yolk, team yolk here.
Yeah, guys, don't give me that egg white. Don't do that. Don't.
The only time I'll accept egg whites is if you have a couple eggs and then you're going to add egg whites to it. I don't like tossing the yolks just to have egg whites. That bothers me. But I also, and this is on me, I haven't done any investigation to the quality of cartoned egg whites. Because where are all the yolks going? Question that I have about that. When we were in Portugal, a lot of their baked goods were made from egg yolks.
Yeah, so they're all yellow. A lot of their traditional desserts are yellow.
Because the monks back in the day used to wear white, and the egg whites would be used to clean and bleach their clothes. So then they just had yolks left over. So they used them to make delicious sweet treats. And so if you're only using egg whites and you're discarding the yolks, make some sweet treats.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, and those Portuguese sweet treats are almonds, sugar,
What's
egg
the name
yolks.
of the...
That's that.
What's the name of the little...
Pastéis de nata. I didn't say it like a Portuguese. I said it like a Brazilian.
Yeah.
Pastéis.
Okay.
But yeah, that thing is really good. So no lie, we had one at least once a day. Every day we were in Portugal because somebody over here was like, I think I want a little in the afternoon. It was a pastéis.
Yeah. That's my favorite part of traveling. You walk around everywhere and you just get yourself a little sweet treat.
Yeah. And they're delicious. So eggs, eat the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can augment your eggs. Like, let's say you're doing something, going on a cut or something, blah, 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 and you got to limit your fat because eggs are pretty fatty. They almost have the same fat to protein ratio there, right? If you eat the whole thing. But you still want some yolk in there, and then you could augment with some other egg white type stuff.
Or lean protein.
But definitely eat some yolks, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Next up, salmon. Very popular salmon. Doesn't need an introduction. A lot of people eat salmon and they know that salmon's good for them. I'm just going to make the distinction here. Boom. Wild caught. Yep. Salmon, not farm raised.
Not farm raised, not wild like or whatever Bill Gates is trying to do.
No, it's Jeff Bezos that's trying to do the wild type 3D printed salmon. So it's not, make sure that it's not that wild type 3D printed salmon. Make sure that it's not that farm raised stuff that they have to dye and make it look pink. It's that wild caught.
That should be like an extreme event. It's like you have to go try to catch salmon with the bears.
Oof. Compete with the bears for the salmon and fight a bear for a salmon.
I wonder if they would fight or if they would be like, so I think you're there with it.
Yeah. Like, I see you, guy.
Yeah.
Right? This stuff's delicious, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
hey, it might come to that someday, right?
Yes, I would be ready to compete with some bears for some salmon, just in case it go down.
Yeah.
Salmon have omega-3s, okay? You want a nice omega-3 to omega-6 balance in your body.
Yes.
You actually want more 3s than 6s, so there's a way to get them in.
Omega-3 anti-inflammatory, omega-6 pro-inflammatory. So we want more omega-3s.
Yep. Vitamin D. Salmon's one of those rare food forms that have vitamin D, right? Vitamin D we know we get from the sun, first and foremost. I mean, you can supplement it, right? But then there's edible forms of vitamin D, and salmon's one of them. Mushrooms, raw milk. So there are other forms of vitamin D, but salmon, one of those rare ones. B12, again. And then there's this little compound called astaxanthin.
That red coloring.
This is really good for cognitive function.
And the red coloring in wild caught salmon is not as red as the farm raised because I think they tend to feed the fish or do something to the fish to make them more red.
Yeah, it's died. Supposedly there would be the farm raised fish the meat is white. Salmon, it's white, which you already know you messing up, bro. Because if we go to Alaska right now and take a salmon out of a bear's mouth, that mug's gonna be red. Okay,
pink,
pinkish, right? And then there's different types of salmon. So sockeye salmon tends to be a little bit redder. There's keta. There's a bunch of types of salmon, but the hues of the red are going to be different. But yeah, astaxanthin, krill would be the other ones that have that red thing. They say blueberries have astaxanthin. They don't exactly look red, but they have it as well. So that's a cognitive function enhancer, like a protector type.
It's also
compound.
Good for skin health too.
Yep. So there you go. Astaxanthin. You heard it here first. Let me spell that out for you in case you want to look it up. astaxanthin. Definitely something you want to research and see if you can include in your diet. After that, we got mussels.
Mussels?
Mussels
are muzzles.
Musslies?
Mussels.
Muzzles? Did I say it wrong?
You made it sound like Z's.
Muzzles.
Say it in Spanish.
Musel.
So it's muscles that are not on your body. It's the ones that are in a shell,
Yeah.
right? Those little things that are in a shell like this. And you find them in paella would be one of the common places that you see mussels all the time. B12, iodine, iron, ladies, there it is again. Manganese and selenium. Gentlemen, every time you hear selenium, you want your ears to go boop, boop, perk up.
We just need to be careful with shellfish because they do tend to harbor more heavy metals.
Good point.
So just watch consumption amounts.
Yeah, these things are a treat, right? You don't want to be.
So this is my little warning to my pescatarians out there who are eating fish, and shellfish. I'm not saying stop. Fish is great, but be aware of where you're sourcing your fish. What are high risk fish that can have heavy metals in them? So thinking like tuna, and how to check your sources, how to maybe even consider checking your levels with your provider, things like that.
Another one with tuna becomes really popular when people are starting to eat clean and then they start grabbing the canned tuna. Definitely be careful with that because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Had a client that was eating tuna every day from a can because it was convenient, it was easy. And then he's like, man, my stomach don't feel right. And I'm like, what are you eating?
Yeah.
And when he tells me, well, I have my tuna, I'm like, you're doing that every day? I'm like, what kind of tuna is it? And he tells me, I'm like, bro, you eating from a can every day. You can't do that. And he stopped, and then it was like, oh, I feel great.
Yeah.
I'm like, you were giving yourself mercury poisoning, bro. So something to watch there. Next one up, and I think Maggie Moo and Rolo too would agree with this. Sardines.
Yes, sardines.
Sardines. We got omega-3s. Supposedly sardines have more omega-3s than salmon.
Yeah.
Calcium, another vitamin D source, guys. Boom, boom, boom. Those are hard to find in food. B12, and that's selenium.
So I was just reading in the Biblio diet about the benefits of eating whole fish, like small fish, right? Just boop, the whole fish. And I don't know if it's purely the meat or if it's also, I'm assuming, the fish bones and skin, because I can't remember. There are benefits from fish skin. We looked into it in the past. I can't recall right now. But I think once a week or at least once a week, it might have been more, popping a whole fish in. That's something we don't currently do, but that
one's tough.
Yeah.
That one's tough because that might be a little crunchy.
But we had sardines when we were in Portugal. They were cooked.
Did I eat the whole thing?
Yeah. Remember? Because they were laid out it was on that flatbread and they were laid out.
Right. And they were laid out.
No, they were on
the
the crostinis or whatever, and they were laid out. So we ate the whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And it was really good.
Yeah.
It's so good. So the Portuguese are big on sardines. If you ever go to Portugal, they're like all types of sardines. That's their thing. That's one of their biggest exports too, is these artisanal sardines that are, sardines with this, sardines with peppers, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, now I'm thinking about that little treat there with the sardine, and that was really good. Yeah, sardine, and they're a powerhouse. They're
I would encourage you, if you travel somewhere and some places known for something like sardines or cod, or they called it something different, eat it there, because where else will it be as well prepared? So,
for sure. Next up, fish roe, aka caviar.
Oh,
omega-3s, B12, vitamin D, choline. The eggs have choline too. We forgot about that one. That's super important. Did I say that? Oh yeah, I did say choline in the eggs. So choline is another one that's a cognitive function protector as well.
It's also good for liver health.
Boom. So, and yeah, choline's a powerhouse. Fish roe has selenium too. Have I eaten caviar? Yes, I have.
I was underwhelmed by it.
Yeah, it doesn't taste great. I mean, but the Russians love it.
Yeah, but I can see if there's health benefits from it, doing it, right? Because there are some things like I'm not sitting here craving organs. Like maybe I am like on a micronutrient level instinctually, but like taste bud wise, I'm like, can't wait to get me some liver, right? But maybe that's something where if we go to a nice restaurant and it's there, why not? So we can get some benefits of it and it's prepared well.
Yep.
So.
And if you had access to this sort of thing, like, man, the amount of caviar that you need to get a boost in nutrients, same thing with the organ meats, the amount that you need is like
Yeah.
Like that much.
But I think in places like Russia, it's just like a normal thing.
Yeah,
like
you
they have a
literally-
can of it and they're like having their afternoon tea or coffee with
Yep,
some
and
caviar,
they
you know,
have
and it's
caviar.
not in the US, it's like, oh, you go to a nice steakhouse, get caviar, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, to them, it's just like having tea and cookies
Yep.
in the UK or something. But yeah, caviar, pretty potent deal there. Oysters.
Love me some oysters. They're also a natural aphrodisiac.
So they say. And then zinc, B12, copper. And this is an interesting one because you find zinc and copper in the same one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So copper tends to be more beneficial to the ladies. Men need copper too, but I guess the ladies need it more. And then zinc tends to be more beneficial to
So
men.
copper's needed for iron absorption and conversion into ferritin to be used in the body. Zinc and copper compete for binding sites in the body. And so that's why if you're dosing if you're dosing zinc highly, like 100 milligrams a day, long term, especially if you're a woman, that can affect your iron levels. Men don't tend to have that much of an issue, so you can get away with it. And zinc, yes, for testosterone. But copper and zinc together, that's interesting.
Yep. Copper and zinc together. Selenium, vitamin D again, and then omega-3s.
Yep.
Really, really interesting. Oysters are good for sure. You have them at restaurants every time. If we get an opportunity to eat oysters, we'll definitely eat them because they are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like the texture of them.
And they taste a little bit different if they're from different regions. I used to eat them a lot, but I haven't eaten them as much because when we lived in Dallas, I went out to eat a lot.
Yeah.
I had them a lot, but we don't here.
We went to Boston,
Mm-hmm.
had them there. I guess it's a thing, having oysters in Boston. Those were pretty good.
Yeah.
Those were definitely, we went to like this specific oyster place that was like the oyster place to go in Boston. And that was pretty good. I'll give you that, Boston. You definitely nailed that one. And here we go. The number one most nutrient dense food. What do you think it is?
Liver.
Yes, ma'am. It's liver. Retinol, which is the true form of vitamin A, B12, folate, not folic acid, guys. Not folic acid.
Not synthetic folic acid.
Not synthetic folic acid. It has folate. Know the difference. Folic acid, man-made, folate, the nutrient that your body actually needs. Made by the good Lord. Folate. That's what your body wants. Not that folic acid. It wants folate, guys.
Okay, one more time. I don't think they got it.
It's made by the good Lord. Get that folate. Okay. Iron, copper, and choline. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a heavy hitter. The thing with liver is the taste, right? Because people get creeped out by the taste of it. I remember, and this is old wisdom. Like, I'm sure I've heard my grandmamas and my great-grandmamas when they were alive and I was a little kid tell somebody, oh, just eat some liver. Liver and onions, girls are feeling down, eat some liver and onions, like that is like a old school prescription right there.
Yeah.
Thing with liver is you can't have it every day. And the dose is very minute because you can give yourself a vitamin A toxicity, right?
So just cooking it isn't as good as eating it raw, correct?
Supposedly the theory is that when you cook it, it's so nutrient dense that a little heat starts burning up the nutrients. So when you cook it, you really want to cook it very lightly.
Yeah. And I wonder if there's some synergistic thing with liver and onions together because it's like a pair that everybody knows.
I'm sure there is. If we look at it, if we dive deep into it, I'm sure there's a reason that those two kind of complement each other. Most people say it's just for the taste to kind of temper down that liver taste. But onions do some magical stuff.
Right.
So it is, you don't need that much liver. Like I said, little like that, and it's going to give you a buttload of nutrients. It's very powerful, the taste of it. So learning to cook it if you are going to eat it is definitely a way, like I think we found like using a little bacon grease would tamper down the liver taste a little bit. Things like that. I would use butter, garlic, onions, those sort of things if you're going to cook it. And if not, you're going to have it the frozen little like a liver pill, then you don't have to worry about it.
And now let's take a quick break.
Have you heard about collagen and how amazing it is for your skin, hair, nails, digestion, and joints, but have no clue which one to choose? I've been there. A few years ago, I stumbled upon Bubs Naturals, and let me tell you, I've been hooked ever since. Here's why I swear by them. Bubs Naturals keeps their quality standards sky high from the start to finish. Their collagen blends perfectly in coffee, or really any other beverage you love. Plus, they've got convenient to-go packs so you can stay on track wherever life takes you. And it doesn't stop there. They'll donate 10% of all of their proceeds to charities that support veterans. How awesome is that? Oh, and they've leveled up their electrolytes too. The mixed berry, that's my absolute favorite. It's light, refreshing, and not overly sweet. What sealed the deal for me? Their electrolytes are NSF certified, made right here in the USA, and just like their collagen, every purchase helps give back. So do your body a favor, head to bubnaturals.com and use my code JANE20 at checkout for 20% off every time you order. Tired of looking like you lost a fight with a powdered donut every time you work out? Yeah, I was too. That's why I ditched the messy chalk and switched to Chalkless. Chalkless is a new, clean, residue-free grip enhancer that goes on in seconds and lasts for hours. No clouds, no cleanup, just a rock-solid grip. Whether you're crushing it in the gym, dominating on the pickleball court, or hanging on a rock face like Spider-Man, Chalkless has your back. I even hit my 350-pound deadlift PR at Summer Strong using Chalkless. Locked in, zero slip, total confidence. Ready to level up your grip game? Head over to chalkless.com and use code JaneBrown to snag 10% off your order.
So the retinol form, that's the form that's needed for your body to absorb, convert, store, and utilize iron. So my vegan, vegetarian ladies out there, if you have low iron and you're not intaking the retinol form of vitamin A, which is only from animals, you have a missing link in your iron storage, metabolism, usage. And so I'm sorry, but that just is what it is. And so this to me is a very strong argument to why we are not meant to cut out whole food groups like animal meat.
And then I'm over here looking at this list again. I'm trying to find where kale and white bread, I don't see where broccoli falls into this.
I will say that you mentioned selenium a lot, and selenium's great for thyroid health. That's also good for men and testosterone. Brazil nuts are a great source of selenium, but 2 a day. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. I used to eat them just because of that.
Yeah.
They taste like a punch in the mouth, but I
like them. They're good.
That, yeah.
But nuts are tricky. Nuts have, because I just got done reading the chapter in that book about nuts. They are packed with nutrients. Need to be careful how they're processed, right? Especially if they're dried and roasted. But they, like especially walnuts and brain health, huge. But you really have to be careful of the amount because you don't need very many. And the fat load of them and the caloric density, depending on the nut, can be large. However, studies did show that even high almond consumption led to stable weight or even weight loss. So just be mindful. If you're eating nuts, you need to monitor the intake of them. Another thing you have to monitor the intake of, because it's very easy to overeat, is cheese.
Oh.
You like my transition?
Oh, look at you transitioning to our next topic. What a little coinky dink. You just did like a little remix there, like a DJ. You just dropped the beat on the next song. We didn't even know. Oh, let's go to that. Okay. This time, this thing I labeled the cheese problem. Okay. I can't, every time I say cheese, I
think of Urkel.
Yeah, I think about Urkel. If you are not over the age of 40, I would say at least 36, 37, then you might not know who Steve Urkel is. And you missed out. I'm sorry that you weren't with us in the 90s when we were having a great old time. Okay.
Like, that's such a good actor. Like, he played Urkel, but then remember, like, later in the show when he would be like his
Jamal or something.
Yeah.
Or
and he came all
Stefan,
cleaned up and
he's
looking
all
sharp.
And all sharp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Family Matters was a good show.
Good.
Everybody watched that.
Yeah.
Like Fresh Prince of
That was
Bel-Air.
part of
Everybody
TGIF,
watched
right?
that. Yes, it was part of TGIF. You get Step by Step, I think was the first, and then you get Family Matters.
Yeah.
God, Man, the 90s. Oh, we had it so
Bring
good.
them back.
Bring it back. We had it so good. Anyway, the cheese problem. So first one, we were out in Crystal River swimming with the manatees. Yeah, it's kind of cool. No, it's not kind of cool. It's really cool.
It's really cool.
Actually, first of all, if you're in the Crystal River area of Florida, I'm sure people have seen it on Instagram because these reels about this area tend to go viral, if you will, because it's rivers, but it's clear water and sandy bottoms.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, right? It's amazing. But then the manatees camp out there for the winter. So then there's manatees swimming in these areas, and you get to go swim with the manatees and see some manatees.
Yeah, we got
close.
to see a little baby manatee feeding on the mother. And if you didn't know it, manatees' nipples are in their armpits. And so it was like hanging out by the side.
Yeah, and then they were moving, swimming along. These things they're pretty big. And then you could be in the water and there's one right next to you. And you're like, oh, I'm just swimming along. Where are these manatees at? And they're like, it's right next to me.
But you can't touch them because they are very, very protected. And they can't see at all. And so they have tiny hairs all over them. And that's how they sense vibrations. So if you touch them, it's almost like you overwhelm them completely.
Yeah, it's like punching somebody in the eye.
And apparently it's gotten to the point where, Coast Guard drives around to make sure nobody's abusing it, because there are some areas where you have to go with a guide to get there, but also anyone can just canoe, kayak, paddleboard up and do whatever. So it's not regulated in a sense of who can come in and out, but so they have Coast Guard, but then from what I heard, they also have drones going over. So you could be watched and not know, and if they see you touch a manatee, that is a crime. Yep. And you can be charged. So this is the second time we've swum with manatees. The first time we went, if a manatee came up, you went like this, right? But this time they told you to go like this. And I was just like swimming. All of a sudden one came right in front of me and I was like,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was really cool.
It's really cool. So while we were out there, we were with some friends and I learned me something about celiacs, or AKA gluten allergies. I didn't know that a lot of shredded cheese has modified cornstarch in it, and that ingredient can cause a reaction to people who are sensitive to gluten.
So it's an anti-caking. So the shredded cheese doesn't clump together.
Yep, and it's very common in a lot of shredded cheese. So
they don't have to disclose it on packaging, or even a lot of restaurants will mark an item gluten-free, but it has shredded cheese on it. And a person could still have a reaction depending on how sensitive they are.
Yeah. And I feel like people who have true gluten allergies, like it sucks because gluten's everywhere. Now, why these people have gluten allergies, I'll put my tinfoil hat on for that one. I think there's something else. A lot of people point to things like folic acid. A lot of people point to things like glyphosate. A lot of people point to things like the fact that our wheat is a bastardized version of what wheat actually is. A lot of people go to Europe with these allergies and they can eat all the pizza, pasta, bread they want over there.
Yes.
In Italy or whatever. Italy is usually the classic example of people with food sensitivity issues. Gastric issues, all this stuff. And they go over there and eat to their heart's content. And then they're like, I felt fine. And I came back and I tried to do it again here because I thought I was healed. And then it's boom, I'm back to it. I'm sick again. So that's where my mind goes when I hear somebody has celiacs or some sort of gluten sensitivity. But for whatever reason it may be, things like modified cornstarch in the cheese, it's hard to go out to eat, right? If you have celiacs, because there's so many things that you have to think about. Nobody wants to eat and feel like Dookie.
Right.
Right? And you never know. They could cook something that they didn't care about was gluten-free, put that off to the side and be like, okay, I'm going to cook this gluten-free dish. And if they use the same pan or something, boom, next thing you know, you're having a reaction. It sucks. Okay, so something to watch out for. Modified cornstarch in your cheese. Why is modified cornstarch in your cheese? Janie said it, so it's an anti-caking agent. Okay. Why do I need my cheese not to cake up if I'm doing shredded cheese?
It's not convenient if it's caked up because now you have to unclump it. It's not as pretty. It's not as mess free.
So if I take my cheese and I go like this with my hands, like them Italians do, like this, and I spread it all over, because you want the cheese to melt, right? So does it matter if it's clumped up?
People don't like it.
You know what I'm saying? We put some made up stuff in the cheese for no good reason. It's like the coloring, like all the food dyes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're just putting it in there for no good reason, and then we're messing ourselves up in the Come on now, y'all. Let's stop it right now. But anyway.
So here's an idea. Just shred your own cheese.
Yeah. You know, you could pretend you're at Olive Garden and just shred your own cheese from a block. Yep. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
Anyway, here's the issue with cheese. So a lot of cheese is one of the most widely consumed foods in the world, especially here in the US.
Yeah.
It's very, very highly consumed food. We all love us some cheese on something. If you think about pizzas, you think about burgers, tacos, you want them cheese on them joints, burritos, all of that. Widely consumed food. So to make cheese, you need rennet. Did I say that right?
I think so.
Rennet?
Rennet. Yeah. RENNET.
Yep, you need rennet to make cheese. Cheese, usually like good cheese, is made with milk, made with salt. You put some cultures in there because you need some bacteria. And then it's made with rennet.
Yep.
And that helps in the fermentation process.
So rennet is the stomach lining of the fourth stomach of a calf that has then been dried, and there's something else.
You salt it and then you hang it to dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's made from, let me look at my notes here. It's made from the abomasum. What they call
cow?
It could be any ruminant animal. That's the criteria. So any ruminant, meaning animals with multiple stomachs, animals that chew their food over and over again. This is why, and they're usually red meat animals. So you're looking at lamb, you're looking at goats, you're looking at cows, you're looking at bison, you're looking at deer. Okay. This is why ruminants are so important too, by the way, because they have multiple stomachs. They chew their food over and over, digest it over and over again till essentially they pretty much all the crap is out of it, and then just the nutrients are coming in. Very important. Why it's a very important animal in the cycle of nature, but also why their meat tends to be more nutritious than monogastric, aka animals with one stomach, pigs and chickens. Red meat tends to be superior in nutritional content. Anyway, the rennet is made, like Janie said, from that stomach of a calf, younger one, and it has to be nursing, right? So it's nursing age calf. That stomach, that part of the stomach gets pulled out. It's salted, hung to dry. It makes like this chunk of dried thing. They cut it into pieces. They put it in water, or they put it in whey or something and it basically creates like a little oil type of thing. And then you drop that into milk. It coagulates the milk. And now you have this.
It makes a precipitate, and that precipitate is cheese.
Exactly.
So,
and then you add the salt and the cultures to it, like the lactobacillus and all this stuff to it. And it turns into a great cheese, right?
So I think it was the 60s that they started having issues with supply and demand.
Now, but here's a fun fact about rennet. Rennet, if you store it in salt, it can last for years. Like you can just make a batch of rennet and use it as needed. And all you need is a little bit to make a lot of cheese. And it lasts for years stored in salt.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's not like you say, but it's going to get spoiled if you, Nope. Now, why are we talking about this? Rennet now it's estimated north of 80%. So 80, 90%.
Yeah.
Of the current cheese being produced in the US, somebody, a friend of ours, somebody that looks out for your best interest at every turn possible, has their grubby little paws all over making rennet, and they figured out how to make a fake version of rennet. And that's what's being used in the majority of cheese production in the US. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about that company, Pfizer. Stop there for a second. Cheese, Pfizer. Do you think you'd put those two things in the same category?
No.
Food, Pfizer. Does that match? It's like finding a baseball bat in a football game. What is Pfizer doing in cheese production? Why would they be so interested in that? I don't know. Let's find out. Same thing as Bayer buying Monsanto. Why would they be interested in food production? You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about, guys. So Pfizer commercialized a method where they insert gene that produces chymosin into microorganisms like yeast and fungi.
So they took the DNA gene from the rennet and they cloned it.
They cloned it,
Yeah.
figured out how to mass produce it, and then they injected to ferment it to create that fermentation process outside of the milk, because you do need cheese is fermented. And they put it into yeast or fungi, and then
Bacteria.
they use that to make the cheese. Okay. The process here is called fermentation produced chymosin. That's what they call it. Saying chymosin.
FPC.
Yeah. Chymosin is the enzyme produced in the stomachs of young nursing nursing
calves.
animals. Yeah. Young nursing calves. And that enzyme is what makes rennet, right? So they figured out how to kind of make chymosin
And
with the little GMO action. You know what I mean?
so now that this technically isn't from a ruminant animal, it satisfies vegan, vegetarian. Well, I guess vegans wouldn't eat cheese, but vegetarian and halal, or what is that for
But you
beef?
got kosher, halal.
Yeah,
Halal is the Muslim.
but they eat beef.
They do.
Yeah, so it's
They-
not halal. It's kosher, I guess.
They eat beef.
It's whatever doesn't eat beef. India,
India doesn't eat beef.
right?
I don't know what you would call their determinant.
I can't remember.
food.
I read it earlier, but now I can't remember. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, it's a GMO thing.
so from what the articles I could find, nothing said that there were ill effects of this.
Yeah.
And all the lights. Nothing was ill effects. However,
Messing up. Oh, I'm messing up on the mic.
it didn't say that it's perfectly fine, but to me, it just raised a suspicion because one, Pfizer, right? Their end profit is giving you medication.
Correct.
So if they have a food that elicits no harm, okay, sure, there's mass consumption of cheese in the US, which we can talk about in a second. So they'll make money that way. But to me, there has to be more to it. That's just a suspicion I have.
It also, they don't have to disclose that they use that.
Yeah.
They could tell you they're giving you.
It's common in, I bred cheddar, Swiss, Colby. Cottage cheese does not have it, right?
Yeah.
Because cottage cheese is just a little bit different medium. But I also read that, not read, but when I was reading this, I'm like, okay, it's a genetically modified. How beautiful was this that we could make cheese from something in a cow, and how it all worked out, right? It all worked out naturally. And then for some reason, how valid is it that we couldn't keep up with demand? I don't know, because as Dan said, you can store it for long term and you only need a tiny bit
to make a lot of cheese. Yeah.
But I can see how in the US we overconsume cheese. So yeah, the demand would be great. So anytime we clone something and we modify it and then we use it to carry on and it's outside of the natural plan of stuff, to me, that's just a setup for something going wrong somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and it's more manipulation, right? Like the more we manipulate and bastardize processes that happen naturally in nature, the more we're injecting opportunity for things to go wrong, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it's just, why do we need these GMOs? Like the nascent stages of GMOs were to create fruit or vegetables or crop that could withstand the use of a pesticide, right? That's the Monsanto story.
Yeah.
How about we don't use the stupid pesticide that kills the crop in its natural form?
Yeah.
How about we figure something else out, right? Like we're over here planning trips to the moon, but we can't figure this out. I think we need this more than we need a trip to the moon. I'm just going to put that out there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's one of those things that it doesn't get studied either. People could be like, oh, there's nothing that shows it's harmful. It doesn't get studied.
Yeah.
Nobody's funding a study to see how GMO Pfizer version of rennet can affect your long-term health.
And it would need to be a long-term study.
And it would need to be a long-term study. Meanwhile, we have people walking around with lactose intolerance and all these sorts of GI issues and skin issues that are stemming from GI issues. You know, colorectal cancers going through the roof. Am I saying that it's this GMO causing it? No. But I'm saying there's a lot of stuff that we have injected uncertainty into through manipulation by profit-driven, not just profit-driven, highly, highly, highly profit-driven companies, meaning they're willing to do stuff. They're willing to blur lines and bend corners and really do questionable stuff to maximize their profit.
Yep.
So it's not like these are regular, everyday people doing this stuff. So we're empowering these companies to do stuff to our food that we ultimately won't know if it's going to be a culprit in causing chronic illness, right?
And our friend, Maddie, who's a black belt, is probably going to choke me out for saying this, but I think the vast majority of Americans, the Gen Pop, especially, I mean, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm going to say in the Midwest, overconsume cheese. There's not a need to go to Taco Bell and have whatever smothered in cheese. I worked in Applebee's all through college. There's not a need to have a steak smothered in cheese.
I mean, was that cheese though at Applebee's
right?
and
I don't
Taco
know.
Bell? Yeah.
I refuse to eat there. But there's not a need, like, is string cheese natural? Right? And I get it. It's a healthy snack for kids, but is it?
You know what cheese was originally? It was a way of preserving milk through the winter.
Yep.
So you had all this milk and you're like, what am I going to do with it? It's going to spoil. You just turned it into cheese, baby.
Yeah. And that's what our ancestors meant about preserving and processing food. Not your Oreos, not your potato chips. So people who make that argument is like, our ancestors would want us to have processed food to be able to preserve it so that we could sit down. No.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese, yogurt, kefir, canning foods, brining meat so it lasts, making jerky. That's what they were talking about.
Yes, sir. Funny thing is here, so there's a way around it. So USDA certified organic cheese. Again, we got to be careful with the organic labels because it's been bastardized, but USDA organic cheese, Organic Valley being one of the brands that they mention as, this stuff has actual rennet in it.
Okay.
So if it's labeled with organic, at least in cheese, for now, we can assume that it's using actual rennet and not this GMO.
If it's GMO rennet, they'll call it something different. They'll say, do you have that written down?
It's fermentation produced chymosin.
No, but they can say something different. They can say it's something different. So I have it pulled up.
Okay, I didn't write that down. Now, Organic Valley being one of the brands that's certified USDA organic that uses actual rennet. And the other way would be to buy European cheeses. The Europeans, they use actual rennet. So if you're buying Parmigiano Reggiano, a lot of these hard European cheeses, that's going to be made with actual rennet. Janie mentioned, because these cheeses come in blocks, you're not going to find really Parmigiano Reggiano in shredded form. It doesn't necessarily come, it's blocks. Get yourself a cheese grinder, baby. Come on now. It's actually kind of fun to grate some cheese. Be like, you could pretend you're at the Olive Garden grating cheese on your food, off the block. So that's the way around that. European or certified organic cheeses. Anything else you want to add on cheese? You're looking that up?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the way you can identify it. It's also found in Swiss cheese.
Okay, don't worry about it.
I think it's called like something like just generic enzyme can be used.
There's vegetable something. They use
if it doesn't just say rennet, if it says something rennet or something like that, I can't But anyway, I would just be weary. And it's chymosin. Yeah.
Yeah, don't let Pfizer have a say in your food, guys. Just saying. Pfizer gonna make enough money on its own. Don't put more money in Pfizer's pocket. Okay. I wanted to rehash here. We're getting close to the end here. A couple things. I wanted to rehash the body fat, body composition thing. We've talked about it before, but we continue to have conversations about weight. A lot of people ask about what should I weigh? Is my weight okay? I need to lose weight. We got the skinny talk revival, the skinny heroin chic look revival. Some of these demons are trying to revive that nastiness again. And then with the GLP usage as well, where people are becoming more and more obsessed with weight and not with the body composition part. We'll always be team body composition here. Yes. Guys, if you get the opportunity, get on a freaking InBody or get on a DEXA. Like, learn how much muscle you have, what your body fat percentage is. It's very important, and that'll tell you more about your current state of health than getting on the scale. I'm sorry. Now, if you weigh 300 pounds, you weigh 400 pounds, then I could be like, hey, there's a point where your weight is going to be like, yes, you have excess weight and we need to get that under control.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do think that even if you weigh 300, 400 pounds, getting on an InBody, knowing your body composition is beneficial, because anyone who's had a significant weight loss journey, you understand it goes fast at first, right? Yep. And then it slows down. And then even if you're losing 30, 20 pounds, it slows down. And sometimes it stalls. But there are composition, like muscles going up, fats going down, but the overall weight stays the same. So this is a good thing to look at. It's also, if you have osteopenia, osteoporosis, diabetes, hypertension, any chronic illness, you want more muscle. So that's going to be beneficial. Some people don't necessarily need to lose weight, but they need to put on muscle. Mm-hmm. And some women who think they need to lose weight and they'll put on muscle and the scale goes up and they'll freak out. But when they see their body fat went down and their muscle went up, it's okay.
It helps. It helps
because your weight can go up and you can drop a pant size.
Yes. And your weight could stay the same and you could find yourself in a way worse position that you were before.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen. I just saw it this week. Put you on the InBody, your body fat percentage went up, your muscle mass went down, and you weigh the same thing as the last time that I checked you in.
But
you know what I mean?
If muscle mass goes down, it takes more fat to keep that weight balance. And when we lose muscle, we also lose insulin sensitivity. We also lose places for glucose to be stored. We lose function. We lose strength. We lose so much when we lose muscle.
And I've seen it. So that, I've seen it too and I've been working with an InBody for a while now, thank God, because before I didn't have access to one. And then we're kind of guessing, and I could tell the client, hey, you're putting on muscle, you're okay. And it wouldn't, and then they would quit. So now I'm be like, come over here. Let's see what we're talking about. Boom, put you on the InBody. And people can see that just because you lost some weight on the scale, it doesn't mean that you're in a better position health-wise. People can see that just because your weight stayed the same, it doesn't mean you're in a better position health-wise. You could mess yourself up. And people can see that just because your weight went up, it doesn't mean that you're in a worse position health-wise. It actually means that you're in a better position health-wise. A big one. I had a client, older, after the holidays, he's like, Dan, I messed up. I ate all the cookies. I ate all this BS during the holidays, and my weight went up. I'm like, oh, I get it. Hey, let's put you on the InBody. Let me give you some peace of mind. Put him on the InBody. My boy put on muscle and dropped body fat percentage in his 70s. Okay. And guess now you're talking. Do you care that your weight went up if you have more muscle and less body fat? You're going to be like, hey, yeah, and my pants are loose.
Yeah. And so this hyperfixation on weight and weight alone is very discouraging. And I think it's been pushed on us for a reason.
They revived it. That thing had almost died for a little bit, and they put CPR into that, and now it's going through a revival.
Yeah. And so when somebody says, well, how much should I weigh? What should my body fat percentage should be? We have general recommendations for body fat percentage. How much should you weigh? That's a range, right? you can go based off of modern or conventional medicine will tell you a certain amount. If I go off of my height, I'm probably 10, 20 pounds over what I should be weighing because they don't take into account muscle mass. And so that's something that you need to figure out. And most medical doctors won't take that into account. Some will, because I remember my GP back up in when we lived in Albany when I was in school, she was like, your weight's above this, because I think I was borderline overweight. And she's like, but you have a lot of muscle, so I don't care. And I was like, thank you. Right? Now,
in the Army, I was 10 pounds over what they wanted me to be. And granted, the military got rid of that recently, but they had the height and weight chart, and I was always 10 pounds over just about. When I used to hit the weight that they would never have to like measure me was when I was running distance all the time, and I was 155 pounds at 5'9". I looked like a bobblehead. Like, I look back at those young Lieutenant Dan pictures, and I looked like a bobblehead. My head was bigger than my body.
But
it was
you ain't
crazy.
got no legs.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Lieutenant Dan. But then I put on some muscle, like I grew into my body, and then I was over what they wanted me to be. And they would, we got to measure, and then take my shirt off, and I have an 8-pack. I was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that just goes to show. But they changed it. Now they're doing waist circumference divided by height in inches.
Yeah.
That's something you could do at home. Waist circumference divided by height in inches.
You can also do waist circumference in compared to your chest.
Yep. So that's a better thing than just getting on the scale and be like, ooh, I dropped some weight. Older people, if you're losing weight, I'm worried. I'm not necessarily like, yay, unless you're really obese. Because at that point, it more than likely means you lost muscle, which means that we're going to lose function, especially if we're 60s, 70s. That's not a great thing. We're going to be less insulin sensitive. You know, blood glucose regulation is going to become a problem. So
increased risk of falls, increased risk of fracture.
And usually weight loss in older adults can be associated with the early onset of a disease, something like a cancer.
Right. And weight loss as we get older decreases capability and function. Once we decrease function, you run the risk of decreasing quality of life because you lose independence. And that is far worse than a lot of other things out there.
Yep.
But I don't think people think about that, especially younger people. And I'm privileged in the fact that I work in family medicine, and I've worked from, birth to hospice, right? So I see older people, especially now where we are in Southeast Florida, work with a lot of older people. And so I almost get a glimpse into problems of the future. And I then take that, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that doesn't, I'm going to do what I can to make sure that doesn't happen to us. But some people never think about it. They never think about a fracture. They never think about having to use a cane or a walker. They never think about having to rely on somebody else for transportation. They don't think about not being able to do activities of daily living, putting their own clothes on, managing their own finances, toileting by themselves, preparing their meals, showering by yourself. Do you want somebody to help you shower because you can't stand in a shower for fear of falling?
Yeah.
And most likely it's going to be a stranger, not your family.
And then you're going to pay them a buttload of money for it too.
So people don't think about that. Like, yes, we talk about like muscles, be strong, be capable. It's so when you're 80 and 90 years old, you can live a productive life independently, choosing to be around people you want to be around. Not, I have this stranger who comes to my house 3 to 4 hours, 5 times a week to make sure I can pee, poop, shower, eat without hurting myself.
Mm-hmm. And this is, we'll save that conversation for later. But, when I hear older adults that are not morbidly obese, because they wouldn't be older adults if that were the case, they wouldn't be here with us. But older adults jumping on GLPs at higher doses, that is very concerning at that point, because we are already fighting the effects of aging. And then we're going to accelerate some stuff that could complicate their long-term prospects. But just to rehash here, what are ideal, optimal, sustainable body fat percentages? Because you can be too lean and that's not sustainable. And it's not going to be ideal either. Okay. Rehashing on this. Okay. For men, we're talking about sustainable, that you can go out and maybe have the occasional beer, have the occasional cheat meal, but you can hold it for the long term. okay? Under 20%. Observationally speaking, you have to be with under that 20% for men, okay? About 12 to 15% in men, you're gonna be fairly lean. You're gonna be on the upper echelon of lean, right? Somebody like me, I get the 12%, I look like I'm cover shoot ready. Thank you, grandpa, But right there, so under 20, good. 12 to 15%, you're gonna be sustainably lean, right? You can get into the single digits. Some men can carry that. They play in the NFL.
Yep.
Okay. Women more around 20%. Okay. If you get to 15% as a lady, you're going to be pretty lean.
Yeah.
And you got to be really careful with ladies. And once you start dropping under 15%, now we're talking bodybuilding lean. We're talking about something that could complicate your hormonal health, okay? So you look at gymnasts and these athletes that are really lean, they tend to have period issues, that sort of thing. We don't want that long-term. We're just talking about health and optimal, sustainable, that you can do it open-endedly health.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Guys, that was a lot. So if you have any questions, anything we can help with, hopefully this was of value to you. Anything you want to add in closing? Where can they find us?
They can find us at our website, achievethelifestyle.com. They can email us at info@achievethelifestyle.com, or they can see us where it goes down, which is in our DMs on Instagram at Achieve the Lifestyle.
It do go down in the DM. That's probably the best way to reach us, guys. Till next episode, I want you to think about your long-term health, okay?
Check your cheese.
Check your cheese. Eat some organ meat, and stay PharmaPhobic. Thanks for listening to the PharmaPhobic podcast. If you found this conversation interesting, which I know you did, make sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also make sure to check us out on Instagram at Achieve the Lifestyle. And if you're interested in pursuing a stronger, healthier, more capable version of yourself, check out our website at achievethelifestyle.com.
The PharmaPhobic podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not constitute medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider before making any medical or wellness decisions. While we discuss pharmaceutical, holistic, and alternative health topics, our content is not a substitute for professional medical guidance.